You know, quite a few times doing reviews of these old shows, I would come upon an episode that, at least for certainly American productions, must have been intended to be a Halloween episode. Some are pretty blatant in it, and others it's just, well, there was that one in from Star Trek that was quite clearly, I don't know when it aired or whatnot, but obviously the influence on the story and everything, and so that happens quite a bit in shows, and especially the holiday is coming, and so they do it. There was an episode of Space 1999 that seemed to be quite the Halloween show, in that hauntings or supernatural elements seem to be merged with sci-fi scenarios and that sort of thing. Well, for Doctor Who, there was a whole genre of horror, certainly in the middle of Tom Baker's run and stuff like that. So it was quite a bit. You could pick, probably more episodes than not that had horror elements in them. And a lot of people always describe how when they were very young watching Doctor Who, that they would get scared of the different monsters and whatnot, and that sort of thing. But in specific to like haunted houses or whatnot, that's kind of rare. So finally here for the seventh Doctor, what does he do? Well, he seems to show up in a house that's haunted. Called Ghostlight. Oh my goodness, it's in the title. So this is one, and I, been up front, I consider the Seventh Doctor the weakest of the classic Doctors. Nothing against the actor playing the role. He actually had, again, the best outfit of the 80s era. But the stories had just fallen flat by then, and a lot of times it just seems like probably a lot of rush jobs going on, and conceptually not entirely landing. With this one, and keeping it simple, the whole thing is shot within this set of an old house. And the spooky elements of it, I think, probably could have had a really strong episode here. And this one is, if I'm going to say one that was one of the best, this one probably was. It fizzles and falls apart. But not as much as others. And I think if the scary and eerie elements had been allowed to continue a little further, but of course, there again, probably more of a rush job in that they didn't have the wherewithal to do more episodes. The axe was coming at that point. And the writing had been on the wall for quite a while, even before Sylvester McCoy started. In fact, there was rumors of it even before Davidson left. So, the clock was ticking on old Doctor Who. So, but for the episode in and of itself, and then they link it to something, Ace, in the future will burn this house to the ground because she felt it was haunted and had an evil force in it. And what do you know, it did. But of course, was it ghosts, demons? Nah, it's aliens. But, what are you going to do? So, and a bit of it was, once again, a nod to Douglas Adams and Hitchhiker and stuff like that. Just didn't quite land as well as he could have done it. And there's even a reference to it in here in one of the lines. But anyway, especially what appears to be the center of it all. You've got some aliens who showed up exploring the Earth a long, long time ago, and cataloging life. That was the mission of this entity, which I have to assume is, they don't quite say it's an AI, but it's some sort of entity of that, the light, the burning one. Yes, certainly flaming. Get it? But this entity has been kept in hibernation. One of the aliens has, and they were studying the evolution of species on Earth, and one of them evolves and ultimately wants to become a Victorian gentleman. And his plot, he lures this famous game hunter to the house, keeps him there, but he's in good with the queen, and he wants to get close to the queen to take her place, I guess, to kill her, and somehow he would inherit the empire and make it better. Something of that nature. I really don't see how that was going to work, but, you know, it was a crazy idiot. And a bunch of other creepy characters, the maid staff and everything there. You had all the elements for full-on horror there, but it was basically just trappings for it. And, of course, I'm guessing they just couldn't figure out how to do it within the time allotted. So the big reveal of the alien, who's a threat to a point in that he's upset that life on Earth keeps evolving, so his catalog becomes invalid. And that's, you know, kind of a hitchhikery thing, you know. But the problem is he doesn't know this. I mean, I'm sorry, pal. Elsewhere you're gonna go. I don't think it disfreezes, but if today it would probably be that this was some sort of AI where the programming got corrupted and it just can't conceive of the concept and is irritated that it has to constantly rewrite the data on the Earth. And so he decides he needs to freeze it all so it can't keep changing, which of course is death, you know. But ultimately ends up realizing once it's pointed out to him that he too has evolved and changed, so he has to stop himself, and basically he disintegrates and his remnants filter throughout the house, which would explain the unease that young Ace will experience later on when she burns the building down. And somehow this convinces the authorities that she's a juvenile delinquent. But anyway, everybody else restarts the ancient starship or spaceship, whatever, and they go off on their adventures. Oh, boy, there could be a side story. No, thank you. And with that all done, the Doctor and Ace hop back in the TARDIS and leave. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, the Doctor's just snooping around. Ace is irritated because he brought her to this house, but chances are it's just dumb luck. But no, he wanted her to face her fears or some such. And she's irritated with him and whatnot, but, yeah, you know, he never seems all that concerned. And by the end, it's all over and done with, and he's like, well, how about that? Then leaves. I don't know, but I mean, again, I guess the theatrics of it, I thought, showed potential that they just couldn't reach it. Probably more than likely for the outside reasons forcing them into it. So, you know, I'll give them that. And that's unfortunate, but, well, there you are. So anyway, I had fun with it, and I think that's quite a plus in and of itself. So there you go. Doctor Who and the Ghost Light.